We're back now at 7:42 with more of our exclusive and emotional interview with Joyce Mitchell, the woman at the center of this summer's prison break in upstate New York. We want to warn you that this part of our conversation does get a bit graphic. Richard Matt was a talented artist, and it wasn't long before his artwork became a kind of currency behind those prison walls. We now know that correction officer Gene Palmer accepted and transported the paintings outside the prison. And the trading that went into that transaction led to trouble. It was how Mitchell was able to get the tools hidden in hamburger meat delivered to the inmates. So you walked right in the prison. Nobody checked your bag.
Nobody checked.
In it you had hacksaw blades.
Yes.
You're in deep trouble at this point.
Yes, I am.
You didn't go to anyone.
Who could I tell? He bragged about how he had done paintings for several officers. Who they are, I don't know, but who could I trust?
I've never been in prison, but I will tell you, if I were you, I think I would have said, I'm going to go home, I'm going to get my husband, I'm going to get him in a car, and we're going to go to the police, and I'm going to tell the police, with my husband next to me, so I know nobody can harm him, exactly what's going on here.
I should have done that, but I was too scared, because Mr. Matt even asked where my mother lived, where my son lived.
Speculation has run rampant, Joyce, that while Mr. Matt told you he loved you, that by this point you loved him as well.
No. It started out as a flirtation thing, but that's all it ever was. There was never any love between myself and Mr. Matt.
At some point, in addition to bringing food and now starting to bring the tools they would eventually use to break out of prison, there was sexual contact between you and Richard Matt.
There was never any actual sexual intercourse. Mr. Matt had grabbed me a couple times and kissed me, and then there was one point where he had he wanted me to would
you like a tissue?
He wanted me to perform oral sex on him, and I said no. And when I said no, he grabbed my head and pushed me down.
So, just to be clear, at no point in this relationship with Richard Matt was there any, in your opinion, consensual sexual contact between the two of you?
There was never any consensual.
And then there was David Sweat. There were questions raised as far back as 2013 about whether Joyce Mitchell and Sweat had an inappropriate relationship. So there was no sexual contact between you and David Sweat in 2013?
There was never any sexual contact between us whatsoever.
If you can, to the best of your ability, Mrs. Mitchell, tell me the complete list of things that you gave them.
I give them the star bit, 4 full-size hack's blades, and I give them chisel and punch. That's all that I give them.
That's a lot.
It is.
So you'd go in during the day, and you'd see at least Mr. Matt in the tailor shop.
Yes.
And he would say to you, hey, we've breached the wall of our cell, we got out of the wall, we're back in the crawl. He would let you know this?
Yes. He actually had told me at one point in one spot that they had found a toolbox, and Mr. Sweat picked the lock and they found power tools in it.
And what was your reaction when you were hearing these stories? Wasn't it also astonishing to you that they were actually getting out of their cells at night and they were going behind the walls of the prison?
They were waiting till after, I think it's the 11 o'clock bed check, and then they would go.
You know, I'm trying to put myself in the position of someone watching this at home, and they're all saying, and you know what they're saying, she's hearing these stories every day. She's given them some of the tools they're using.
And she's the monster.
And she did nothing to stop it.
I knew I was in way over my head, so I had to keep going with whatever they were saying.
And that is, I mean, the thing that, there were many opportunities throughout this ordeal where she could have picked up a phone and called someone. I think that is what everybody has the hardest time.
Even through that fear, as you say, you could go to the police station.
You're still going to get in trouble, but at least if you go earlier, they don't get out of prison and put at risk the lives of people in that community.
It's such an incredible story. There's so much more to hear from her.
That's right. We're going to have more of this interview with Joyce Mitchell Friday here on Today, and later that night on a special Dateline.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.